we're not talking about my muscles, but we're talking about these muscles. The first thing you need to do when you cook mussels is to make sure that the pan is very, very hot. I'm going to add a little touch of olive oil. Usually I would have put garlic, a bit of chili, but you know, the local people, they just put the mussels in there, a touch of white wine and water, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. See the heat? That's what you want. A little bit of white wine goes in there. I'm gonna put a touch of salt, and you will see that in about 2 minutes, all the mussels will open, the job is done. The worst thing that you could do to mussels is overcook them. They're gonna get dry, they're gonna get chewy. Mussels, as soon as the shell starts to open. Come here, I'm gonna show you, look. You need to keep them beautiful and juicy. So that is the secret. Okay, you separate the mussels. And it's important to keep the juices as a stock in the tiella. Okay, how do we do this? Very simple, guys. I got some beautiful local potatoes here. This is gonna be the first layer of the tiella. So you just lay them, slightly overlap, it's fine. But, you know, don't waste too much time. Half of my cherry tomatoes on top. Half of the onions, finely sliced. Then generously sprinkle salt. Remember, you have to season this as you go. Now we're gonna put the herbs. Now what we're gonna do with the mussels? Just gonna lay on top like this. Okay, guys, a true Neapolitan like me will never use any cheese to go on top of this tiella. The thing is, the people from Puglia, they grate Parmesan cheese now on top of the mussels. I don't particularly agree, but I'm gonna have to stick with the original recipe because I'm worried that these people, they're gonna kill me. Parmesan cheese, I can't believe I'm doing this. You know, moments like this is better than my grandmother is not with me anymore, because if she would have seen me pour Parmesan cheese on top of the mussels, she would have gone bananas. Okay, Gino, don't look, it's fine. Don't worry, Gino, this is a recipe that is over 500 years old. The Spanish people gave it to the people from Puglia. Everything is gonna be okay. Okay, now the rice. You can use any rice that you would use to make a risotto. Half of the rice goes straight on top of the mussels and the Parmesan cheese. Then on top of that, I got my secret ingredients. There you go. Saffron. This is gonna give a sexy color to my rice. At this stage, you have to do exactly the same all over again. This recipe will feed between 4 and 6 people, so you gain quite a lot out of the ingredients. Then do you remember I told you to keep the mussels stock? What I want to do, I'm gonna put this straight on top, and this is gonna give me a natural fish stock to the dish. Okay, ragazzi, the lid goes on. Preheat your oven, 200 degrees, 45 minutes with the lid on, then take the lid off and finish off cooking for another 15 minutes. And an hour later, my tiella is almost perfect. Oh, yeah. It looks beautiful. This is exactly what I'm expecting to look like. And let me show you the layer. See, when you lift it up, look at that. You got the potato, and you see the color of the saffron into the rice. And I think to make this one even better, I'm going to add a Gino touch to the tiella. Now, you remember I got those beautiful purple head prawns? I'm not gonna waste them. I'm gonna use them, and I'm gonna put them on top of the tiella. I'm gonna put a little bit of garlic, peperoncino, chili flakes. We want to make sure that it's got a nice kick. Okay, prawns in there with the head on, shell, everything, just the way they are. I'm gonna put a little bit of parsley, little touch of white wine, and do remember, prawns are like any seafood. Do not overcook them. Be very careful. See how quick it is to cook prawns? I'm just gonna leave them like this, standing up. So you can imagine if you make a dish like this, serve it just in the Tiella pot, in the middle of the table, all your friends and family, they can tuck in and enjoy something that is absolutely delicious. All these beautiful juices here. Put a little squeeze of lemon on top. What can I say? Sometimes you do need an Italian to make a Spanish dish just perfect. And this is just perfect. This is how you make my Tiella. Today, I'm going to show you one of the most bizarre way of cooking pasta. I'm going to show you how to make spaghetti alla Sasina, which is a typical dish from Bari. Now, the reason why I say bizarre, because this is going to be cooked like a risotto. So we are not going to boil the pasta, we are going to cook the pasta straight into the sauce that I'm making. I mean, I've cooked bizarre things in my life, but this is gonna have to be the first for me as well. You need a pan big enough that you can lay the spaghetti in it. It needs to be like a proper metal pan or a cast iron pan. The reason is because these spaghetti, they're gonna start to get all crunchy and burnt. I know, all part of the recipe. First thing, what we got here, we got some water, just boiling water, and in there, we are going to pour tomato paste. Just goes into the water because we're gonna create a beautiful, bright red stock. Just whisk everything together, okay? So one job is done. Now, in the pan, what are we gonna do? Garlic and chili. There, you don't need any extra fancy ingredient. Now, when you slice garlic, if you don't want to have a bad breath, just get rid of the middle. Seagulls that they want to eat my spaghetti, I can hear them. This recipe was created in the 60s. There was a chef here in Bari. 2 customers from north of Italy came to his restaurant and they wanted a plate of pasta, but they didn't want just a normal plate of pasta. They told the chef, look, do something to impress us. So the chef went into the kitchen and just shoveled everything in a pan. And this is how spaghetti alla Sasina was born. And assassina, in English, you translate assassin, killer. You know, you have a killer spaghetti. That's what it actually means. Okay, so put the garlic in there. Then you put your oil, a touch of chili. You can use fresh chili or you can use dry chili, whatever you fancy. Okay, as soon as the garlic starts to sizzle, in there with the tomato sauce. Not too much. You just want to make the base of the tomato sauce. As soon as the tomatoes start to sizzle, now is going to be the time to put the spaghetti in there. Very gently. You need to make sure that you coat the spaghetti with tomato. Now, look what's happened. Get close, get close. I want you to see what's happening. Look, everything is getting all sticky. Now, slowly, we're going to add the stock. So we're going to pour red on red. That's how we're gonna do it. So you put a little bit of stock, then you let all the bubble do the job. The secret for this recipe is to make sure that you take your time and you move the spaghetti around the tomato sauce. A little bit more stock. Oh, now, have a look at this. This is when it becomes now all exciting. Look at the bottom of this pan when it's getting all burnt and crispy. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, okay, Gino, who's going to wash the pan? Well, in this case, it's not going to be my problem. And I'm not going to come to your house to wash your pan. But if you want to do this recipe, this is what you have to achieve. You just have to scrape down and make sure that it gets all crispy. And this is how it's done. A little bit more stock, and I think we are nearly there. Obviously, like every pasta, make sure that it's al dente, because if it's not al dente, the pasta, you may as well pick it up and throw it in the bin. Okay. I am happy with the pasta. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna switch everything off. Just let it rest for about 30 seconds, no more than that. Meanwhile, I've prepared a nice fresh salad because I think when you eat dishes like this is going to be quite strong in flavor, the tomato sauce. Then you got the chili, then you got the garlic. Serve it with something fresh. So I'm using what the local call cucumarazzi. It's got the hint of a melon. This is the way I like it to dress. Extra virgin olive oil. This is a very typical Italian dressing. So there you go. Red wine vinegar, like this. A little bit of salt. And the job is done. It should be all nice and sticky. All right, now look at that. See, this is pretty much like a spaghetti pomodoro, just cooked in a very bizarre way. Spaghetti alla Sasina, and this is how it's done. I'm going to show you a recipe now that is fantastic to do on the barbecue. So forget about your normal barbecue that you do the sausage, a few ribs and vegetables and stuff like that. No. From now on, you are going to make my bombette. What is a bombetta? Bombetta, if you translate in Italian, it means a little bomb. It's because when you're gonna bite into it, it's gonna be an explosion of flavors. What you need is raw capocollo. You want to make sure the butcher slices it very thinly. Look how beautiful and thin this is. If you are at home and think, oh, where am I going to get the capocollo? Don't panic, because you could use lamb, you can use beef, you can use chicken if you want. Just make sure that if you use chicken, you bash it down very thinly, so then when you put it on the barbecue, it cooks fast and the moisture stays in there. So let's run through the other ingredients. Of course, I had to use Giuseppe's capocollo, the one that I finally learned how to cure it. Look at this, is gonna be, the fat is gonna go into the bombette, is gonna be absolutely delicious. Then I got some sliced pancetta. You can find this pretty much everywhere. And then I have caciocavallo. Now, caciocavallo is a traditional Italian cheese that melts when you cook it. You can use any kind of cheese that you know is going to melt. So we're gonna pour on top of each capocollo a slice of cured capocollo. So it's capocollo on top of capocollo. Very simply, pick up your caciocavallo and just put it on top. Get closer to me, so then I can show you exactly the way I do it. So see the raw capocollo? You want to fold it on the sides here first, like that. And then very simple, you just roll it. Roll it, roll it, roll it. There is what you get. So very important to roll the sides first, and then you seal it. And this is gonna look like, you know, you guys call it the pig with the blankets. So you put it at one end, and then gently, tight, 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 tight. Bello, 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 bello. Ecco qua. Fantastico. Now that we are at this stage, there is one more thing that we have to do. I'm gonna coat them in breadcrumbs. So get your bombette, make sure that you gently press them in your hands, and then straight into the breadcrumb, like that. No need to put them into the eggs or flowers or anything like that. No, just breadcrumb. Beautiful. I guarantee you guys that once you do this bombette and your family will taste them, or your friends, they're gonna ask you to do them over and over again. Okay, job done. Where is my beer? Piano piano. We are making a barbecue, so there is no need to rush. Who would have thought that at some point in my life I would drink an olive beer? Okay, so now let me show you how you put the bombette on a skewer. You're gonna have to see where you sealed the pancetta. That's where I sealed it, and very simply, 1, 2, and 3. One thing that I like to do is not to put too many bombette on my skewers. Then I'm gonna use some of this amazing rosemary olive oil, which I'm just gonna drizzle on top like that. Very willy-nilly, as we say in Italian. Very willy-nilly. Not too much oil, yeah? Remember, there is quite a lot of fat into the capocollo. I just wanted to make sure that I give a nice gold and crispy color. Now, secret of a good barbecue, obviously make sure that the barbecue is nice and hot. You just pick them up and go straight in there. Look, like that. Not too hot though, yeah? We don't want to burn them. We want to make sure that we cook them for a good 6 or 7 minutes on each side, and it should be ready. Remember, what we want to achieve there is to make sure that the outside is nice and crispy. So the raw capocollo is going to be cooked, but inside everything is going to melt, the cheese, and it's going to be just fantastic. Just leave it there. Remember, when you deal with meat, always to wash your hands. I'm also using olive oil soap here. Everything is about olives and olive oil around here, which is just right up my street. Okay, now for the salad, I'm gonna do something that is fresh and super easy. We got fennel, which I sliced it very thinly. Thin as you can slice, that's the job. And then I have some orange segments. So with a knife, make sure that you pick up the segment like that, so you don't have the skin of the orange that is going to be in your teeth and is going to bother you. So this is going to be nice, tasty, and beautiful to eat. You put your fennel on your serving plate. You put the orange segment around, and then put a little bit of black pepper. This, a little pinch of salt, rosemary flavored olive oil goes on there. And then gently use your hands just to toss everything around like this. And you create like a bed of fennel and oranges. So this is going to look great. It's going to taste nice and fresh. We're just going to lay the skewers on top. Hey, I think my bombetta are ready. Look at that, the oozing cheese. Absolutely beautiful. Look, I like to serve them just like this. Leave the skewer on so your guests, they can pick up the skewer and just eat. And bye, look at the golden color. I like to also put a little bit of flat leaf parsley because I think it's nice and fresh. Bellissime. See how simple? Guys, this is how you make my little bombette, my little bombs that they're gonna explode in your mouth with flavor. Happy barbecue.